Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump has just taken yet another shot at India, choosing to put America first and ultimately shutting down one of the single largest scams in all of U.S. history. Now, as many of you know, the United States has been giving out H-1B visas to highly skilled workers from around the world, or at least that's what we've been told. In reality, around 70% of these H-1B visas ended up going to low-skill, low-wage workers primarily from India, many of which actually lied about their credentials, putting together fake resumes with diplomas from universities that don't actually exist. And of course, many American companies were more than happy to similarly abuse the H-1B visa system because it was a way in which they could import thousands of cheap, low-wage, low-skill workers to replace American workers and ultimately increase their yearly revenue. But so folks, that is what brings us to today's breaking news, because as it would seem, President Trump has just shut all of that down. Take a look.
One of the most abused visa systems in our current immigration system has been the H-1B non-immigrant visa program. This is supposed to allow highly skilled laborers who work in fields that Americans don't work in to come into the United States of America. What this proclamation will do is raise the fee that companies pay to sponsor H-1B applicants to $100,000. This will ensure that the people they're bringing in are actually very highly skilled and that they're not replaceable by American workers. So it'll protect American workers, but ensure that companies have a pathway to hire truly extraordinary people and bring them to the United States to work.
We need workers. We need workers. We need great workers. And this pretty much ensures that that's what's going to happen. I think, Sean, do you agree with that?
Well, they're $100,000 per year. So the whole idea is no more will these big tech companies or other big companies train foreign workers. They have to pay the government $100,000, then they have to pay the employee. So it's just not economic. If you're going to train somebody, you're going to train one of the recent graduates from one of the great universities across our land. Train Americans, stop bringing in people to take our jobs. That's the policy here. $100,000 a year for H-1B visas, and all of the big companies are on board. We've spoken to them about the gold card.
They love it. They love it. They really love it. They need it.
You hear that? They love it and they need it, and really, so does our entire country. But so folks, what do you say we actually go over some of the brand new key details regarding President Trump's new H-1B visa program? Each new H-1B visa application will now cost a non-refundable $100,000, whereas the application used to cost just $5,000. So Trump has just increased the price of an H-1B visa application by a factor of 20 times. Then, on top of that, these visas will also cost an additional $100,000 per year, while the H-1B visa salary floor has been raised up from $60,000 up to $150,000. And to top all of that off, all of this applies to both new and pre-existing H-1B visas. And so folks, to say the least, this is a pretty big deal. But okay, let's tune back into Howard Lutnick because he actually gave some more information. Take a look.
H-1Bs are sometimes used by people already in the country legally on other visas or student visas. Does this apply to them or to renewals, or does it only apply to people applying for the first time from abroad?
Renewals, first times. The company needs to decide, is that person valuable enough to have $100,000 a year payment to the government, or they should head home and they should go hire an American. The whole idea, it's annual, and it's for total, it can be a total of 6 years. So $100,000 a year, so either the person is very valuable to the company and America, or they're going to depart and the company's going to hire an American, and that's the point of immigration. Hire Americans and make sure the people coming in are the top people. Stop the nonsense of letting people just come into this country on these visas that were given away for free. President is crystal clear. Valuable people only for America. Stop the nonsense.
And so, folks, as he said, it is time to stop the nonsense, which is exactly what President Trump is doing. Now, I want to highlight what some of that nonsense really looks like, but first, I do want to say real quick that if you guys enjoy the daily news updates, please consider subscribing to the channel because it really does help a lot. But okay, take a look at this.
What do Americans need to understand about this?
Well, I think you're right to say the H-1B, it's become a total scam. These companies game the system. You have some of these companies that are laying off large numbers of Americans while they're also getting new H-1Bs and renewing H-1Bs. And a lot of times people used to say, well, we're getting the cream of the crop from all around the world. The reality is that's not actually what H-1Bs are. Most of them are from one company or from one country, India. There's a cottage industry about how all that people make money off this system. Yeah. And look at what's happening to young people in this current job market because of artificial intelligence. You are starting to see evidence that they're having a much tougher time because of what's happening with AI. So if that's going to continue to produce dislocations, why would we be importing foreign workers when we have our own people that we need to take care of?
Folks, that is absolutely right. And hey, I don't know about you, but in my personal opinion, it is time that we actually start putting American workers first. But now, let me show you folks just how bad this problem with the H-1B visa has really become. Since 2006, the United States has been accepting 85,000 H-1B visa workers per year, every single year, around 70% of which have always come from India. In fact, right this very moment, there are around 500,000 Indian H-1B visa workers currently inside of the country. Have you noticed that pretty much every single gas station and hotel across the country is now staffed by Indians? Yeah, that's because of all of the abuse that's been taking place within the H-1B visa system. The reality is, for decades now, the H-1B visa program has functioned as nothing more than a direct fraud pipeline, which has ended up being abused by foreigners from third world countries like India with fraudulent credentials like fake resumes and diplomas from universities that don't even exist. Pretty much, our immigration system has been completely and totally duped, and American workers have been getting screwed over as a result. But also, something worth noting here real quick is that around 5% of India's total GDP actually comes in the form of what are called remittances. That's money being sent back to India from Indian H-1B workers over here in the United States of America. So what this means is that by signing this executive order, President Trump just bid out a huge chunk of the Indian economy, ultimately keeping all of that money back here in the USA. And by the way, we're talking about tens of billions of dollars here every single year, so really, this is a big deal. And so hey, I don't know about you, but me personally, in my opinion, this is what it looks like to finally start putting America first.